Hello, welcome to the Blue Collar Racing Podcast. I have a real treat for you listeners today. We got a good buddy of mine, a racer, a shop owner. You guys will be hearing more from him in the future. Damon Norman.
Hey man, thanks for having me on.
So let's kind of tell people about yourself. Tell us about your race truck, and then we'll get into the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, I'll keep it pretty short. My name's Damon Norman, Central Pennsylvania. I run Dirty D's Performance, Diesel American Muscle Shop up here in Central PA. And I have a drag truck. It's your typical '06 quad cab, short bed, 5.9 Cummins truck.
Nice. How long have you had the truck? How long have you been racing the truck?
Oh, I want to say I've had the truck 6 or 7 years. It's only really been a dedicated competition truck for maybe 2 years now. Previous to that, I actually drove the truck and, dirt dragged it a couple times and went down the strip now and then at, full weight. But it's only been a quote-unquote drag truck for a couple years.
All right. And that, honestly, that's how most of us start out. We get something that's kind of a daily driver or a weekend truck, and then it just kind of, you start going faster and faster, and you just get the itch.
Yeah, for sure.
Go from there. Next thing you know, you got a full-blown drag truck.
Pretty much exactly how it happened.
So we got I have my drag truck. That's how me and Damon actually met. I have a 99 regular cab long bed that was a street driven truck turned to a race truck. Full gutted everything. Cage. Over the off season, I back halved it, four lengthed it. It's kind of a mixture of parts with it because it has a bunch of parts off of the 2001. The bedsides are actually third gen bedsides that you found for a great price. So it's kind of a mixed matched of parts, but hopefully soon, after I get my pump struggles figured out, we'll have a race truck again.
I hope so.
And hopefully soon we'll have your truck back on. You're dealing with some front end issues.
Yeah, we'll get them sorted soon. No worries.
So hopefully by the end of the year, we should be able to make some passes again.
That's the plan.
And kind of just go from there and see what happens.
For sure.
I started BCR, and with help from Damon and a bunch of friends and stuff, we wanted to come up with an idea. I've been making some intakes, and I did all the work on my truck as far as fabrication and compound kits and everything. So kind of venturing out and starting something. Damon thought it was a good idea. My wife is doing stickers and shirts and hoodies and lanyards and a whole bunch of stuff. The website should be live within the next week. And that's exciting.
Absolutely is.
I got 2 intakes being built at the moment, and I'm waiting on 2 flanges and some more pipe, and I'll be having some intakes coming up to you so you can try them out and see what you think of them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You got plenty of trucks here to do it with.
Yeah. And right now I'm just sticking to the 12 valves, 5.9 VP trucks and 5.9 common rails. Not venturing into the 6.7s.
Can't say I blame you.
A lot of stuff has to go into doing stuff like that. And I am going to be working on cold air intakes for second gen swaps. There's not a huge market for those. You got your plastic ones, and then you got like WC Fab, Eagle Fab. You got those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I think you stand a good chance with them.
And then kind of see where it goes from there. Maybe venture into more stuff.
I'm sure you will.
I've done traction bars and stuff before. Traction bars are really easy for local sales. They're extremely hard to ship.
Huh.
But other than that, I'm just going to see how it goes and see what comes about with it.
You know what they say, you can only go up from here, right?
Yep. And then for future BCR podcast stuff, Damon's going to be back on talking about shop ownership. And I also want to do one with you on tow rigs.
Oh, man, give me new ideas in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah, man. I want to come up with, I had somebody ask me about doing one with tow rigs. I think between you and me, we can come up with some good ideas for just, your decent everyday tow rigs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we definitely will get into that at some point, do shop ownership. We'll be getting people on for different blue collar jobs. We got racers coming in, other shop owners, event coordinators, stuff like that. Just kind of keep everything interesting, and hopefully the audience enjoys it.
I'm sure they will.
So what upcoming events are you going to be trying to go to?
So the only things I am trying to actually make this year is going to be East Coast Diesel Nationals up here in Pennsylvania. That's actually coming up here in about a month. And then I'd like to make it back down for, fall truck wars down there with you guys. But other than that, just plan to keep the schedule light this year and see where everything goes.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a holding pattern, waiting on the pump since my VP44 went out at like the day before Truck Wars. We're trying to get a 12, or not a 12, we're trying to get a P pump. Its cores are not really in stock. So once I find a core or find a pump, get a pump on the truck, make that whole swap, hopefully, my goal was to make the East Coast Diesel Nationals, but with being a month away, I don't know if that's going to happen.
That's not the end of the world. One.
Yeah, I still plan on coming up for it. I would love to at least make the trip up there, and I've always wanted to go to it, so I plan on being there for it. It's just don't know if I'll have the race truck there. The Truck Wars, we will be at Truck Wars. That is set in stone. Truck or no truck, we're going. We're actually going to have a vendor booth set up at Truck Wars. So anybody that's listening to this that wants to get merchandise that doesn't want to order off the website, come to Truck Wars. We will be there and get all the merchandise. We'll have special merchandise for the event anyway. So come by, check us out. Hopefully we'll have race truck there. Hopefully Damon will be there, so you'll be able to meet the whole crew.
Oh yeah, I'll be down.
Hopefully we'll get our buddy Jesse out there and a couple others out there, and hopefully we'll have a few race trucks and not just one or two. Let's see. You got anything else you want to talk about there?
No, I figured, try to help you keep it light for the first podcast, keep it a little realistic.
Yeah, still getting used to the whole podcast thing. I'm sure
I'm sure they'll get covered up.
Yeah, first one people are probably gonna be like, "Oh, this is iffy," but it'll straighten out soon. Next week we'll have Chris Parker on with. He's the one that I guess you would say coordinates, is the main head behind Diesel Truck Wars. He's gonna be on talking about the event, so we'll be able to get a lot of good information about Truck Wars. Anybody listening to this that has any questions for Chris, comment on Facebook, comment on any of the platforms. My email's on the Facebook. Just comment, ask your questions, and I'll make sure I ask Chris. And same way, if you guys have any questions for Damon or anything, you can either find all of his info will be in links on the post with the podcast, and then also his stuff will be all over the Facebook page, the Instagram page. You can ask him directly. You give him a follow. Keep track of his trucks. You can also ask questions to me or on our page. Me and Damon talk a couple times a week. Any questions you have, we'll definitely be able to do our best to answer them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not hard to get a hold of two of us.
And any future podcasts or any guests you want to see on the podcast, comment. And if you're a shop owner or you're a guy that races or just anything and you want to be on the podcast, shoot us a DM. I mean, I've got no problem interviewing anybody. So definitely, we're trying to be one of those podcasts that's very interactive with our audience. And everybody that I have on the podcast, I want them to be the same way. They have questions, they can reach out to them directly. Ask away.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I was going to say is, don't worry, I'll get to I'll get to talk a whole lot more in some of the upcoming episodes, I'm sure. This one's all about Kyle and where the podcast comes from and making sure you guys know what's going on and why he's here and what he's doing with it.
Yeah, this is kind of the beginning one. And like I said, the future ones will have a more or less a set topic of this is what we're going to be talking about. So we'll focus on that stuff when we set it up. And definitely we'll have you back in the future. Do one about tow rigs, do one about your business. And I'm sure we'll do one right after Truck Wars on a recap of how Truck Wars went.
That one I'm excited for.
Yeah, that would be exciting. Same way for East Coast Diesel Nationals. I'd love to do one right after that, just about how the event went. And, I mean, that event's good every year.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The same way with Truck Wars. Truck Wars is a great event every year. I don't know how Truck Wars does it, but they get some of the best racers from all over, and they're always at Truck Wars. It's great competition out there.
Yeah, every year. I mean, there's always some cool trucks out there going hard for it.
Definitely. It's not an easy event to show up and just, you're not going to show up and just get you an easy win.
No.
You're gonna have to work for it out there. It's a fun time. So do you have any tips of the week for us? What you got for us?
Yeah, man. I'd say tip of the week is always make sure you support those who support you. You never know when you could use the help up, and you never know when they could use it from you.
Exactly. That's a good one. And the tip I got for you guys this week, especially if you have a race truck, any kind of competition truck, don't give up on it. There's so many people that get them, have a few problems, they give up on them too early. They're gonna have problems. The whole point of a competition truck is you're gonna find a weak link every time. Just keep trying. There's no perfect recipe for every truck out there.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you saw one guy on Instagram do it does not mean you can do the same exact to yours and it's going to be the same. Every truck's different. That's about all I got for this episode. Short and sweet, and we will be back at you next week with Chris Parker. And that's about all I got, unless Damon got something.
Nope, anybody listening, man, appreciate y'all out there, and definitely give Kyle a follow, and the podcast will only get better from here.
I appreciate it. And yeah, give Damon a follow too, and let's just keep going and see how big we can get this. All right, well, until next time, Damon.
See you, boss.
I appreciate it. All right, well, that was a good first podcast, I believe. Could have been better. I'm still getting used to it. And I appreciate you guys listening, and have a good one.